1951 Springfield Armory M1 Garand.
Oh, dude, you can't go wrong with that. You don't even need
That's
a.
not a Springfield Armory, you dumb shit.
It is a Springfield. It says Springfield on it.
Yeah, but that's an original United States military Springfield Armory, not Springfield Armory was it
We
Geneseo,
import them.
Illinois.
Ugh,
We
fine,
import them and
whatever.
stamp our name on them. Springfield Armory's different.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's okay. Have you taken it? Did you get a chance to take it out to the range yet?
Nah, it's at the gun shop right now. It needs an op rod because some idiot used full power hunting loads and bent the op rod.
Mm,
I was just going to tell you about that.
yeah, American Eagle makes a good M1 Grand round that you can run that has no problems. That it's a little pricey, but it's not. Are you going to go ahead and load your own ammo for it?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go American Eagle. I'd go PPU. They make some pretty good Garand loads.
Oh, they do?
Yeah,
See, I wasn't sure if there was
yeah.
other companies. And then a lot of people talk about what Greek surplus ammo you can get.
Yeah,
That's another one you can go with.
I would use PPU because it's non-corrosive, and all you have to do, you can reload the brass. Problem solved.
That's all I use is PPU. I like their brass quality.
Well, there you go. You're good.
I've had
Bought
problems
PPE.
with their 3030, the ammo for the 3030. Mine was, my 336 Marlin, it'll cycle anything, but that stuff, it was really having a hard time ejecting it. I don't know if the brass overexpands or what the problem was. I've tested 5 different brands of ammo, and it did not like that one, which surprised me because that's such a gun-specific ammo, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. It's a
I've
soft brass. It's very soft.
Mm-hmm.
And that
I've actually
usually,
bought PPU brass, and I like
yeah, that's
it.
that's what I do for the Mosin is I just buy straight PPU brass and then load my own.
Well, now it could just be that shell, and that was just a box that I ran through. And I'm not speaking for the whole line because I bought their pistol ammo before, I bought their Mosin ammo before, and it's great. It has no problems at all.
I think I bought it for $22,250.
Okay.
And I was completely content with the stuff. It was just fine.
Yeah.
I got to shoot a 22-250 the other day. It's a violent little round.
Were you running a bolt action, or I'm sure you can get a semi for? You can get a semi-auto like an AR upper for, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was shooting my uncle's. I think it was a Winchester something. I forget what Winchester's bolt action is, but it had like
70.
70.
Gotcha.
Model 70.
Ah, yes, that's what it was.
Okay, guys. Well, we've been live for a couple minutes now. We just wanted you to catch a little bit of the pre-chat when we're sitting around talking, doing some rifle talk this morning, but we're actually going to do some knife talking this morning. Let's just see who we got over on the gun channel side. Tony's there, but Tony's here, but Tony's there, so that's awesome. Tony, I want to thank you for joining us. I need to get your contact info, Tony. I never am able to reach you through gun channels to send the link. I want to do that. So I can reach you in the mornings when we do this. And then over on the YouTube side, we've got Sean Callanan and Water Gunner. Sure, we'll have a few more people joining in. We got 5 people watching now, but it'll pick up as the morning goes on. So that's definitely cool. Good to see you guys here. Thanks for joining us. And so this is Caliber Corner number 9. Last week, I want to apologize. I was down in the Dallas area for one of my favorite breweries was having their 5th anniversary. And so I went there for the weekend. And it would have been not easy for me to get on and do a Caliber Corner. My buddy's got a couple kids and stuff, and there's really no place I can go to do the Caliber Corner without being interrupted. So Doug D's with us now. Doug, welcome. All right. So I'm going to go and let the panel introduce themselves. So AWAG, we'll start with you. How you doing, man? What do you want to say?
I am AWAG 1000. Today we're going to talk about sharp objects.
That's right. That's right. They may be considered knives and they may not. Yes. AWAG, you got any videos you want to promote or any channels you're pushing on YouTube or gun channels?
I'm trying to promote my own channel right now. I'm at 70 subscribers. Very, very small YouTube. It's mostly about my car.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a video soon on prepping and what your own vehicle can basically do in a things go sideways situation.
Okay. I got to admit, there was a little bit of a regular cars review inspiration in that video you made where you're talking about the quirks of your Supra. Yes. I was chuckling the whole time. I like that. That was awesome. It was funny.
So we're gonna have to have a
regular-
super chat next.
Yeah, we can do hey, we do JDM card chat if you want to, or just cars. We can talk cars if you want to. We could talk bug out vehicles. Like some good ideas for some vehicles to look at, or what to do if you got a bug out in your vehicle, what you need to know, what to keep out in your car. So it's a possibility.
Right.
All right. Nice
Vehicle
strike.
preparedness.
Oh, sorry, man. Vehicle preparedness. There you go. How
Yeah.
prepared is your vehicle, and are you? All right. Nice strike. You got anything you want to promote today?
Oh, here we go.
Freedom and Hit or Miss Tuesday nights 9:00.
Don't forget PSA.
Tony, shut the fuck up.
I should almost have a no Jonas time, no PSA, cheaper than dirt time on this. Have you ever noticed this, Nice Strike? I don't ever call you Jonas. Ever. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. I've never actually.
That's because you're a teacher. You're not. You don't do that to your kids.
Well, I mean,
I
they got
don't-
nicknames. I mean, you use nicknames in class once in a while if they want to be called that, but you don't ever want to be called that, so I don't.
Okay, Travis, it's because
Yeah,
you're
man.
not that kind of asshole.
I've never called him that either.
There we go. See, there we go. This is I guess the only thing that would make it better is if we had some donuts with sprinkles and coconut on top, but we don't. As much as I love, I really am starting to not like sprinkles now that I've had this kind of saturation in my mind that sprinkles are just not good on donuts. The whole anti-sprinkle campaign, they really are not good. In retrospect, after eating them, they don't really do anything except just add color into the donut to sell it. I mean, I can understand that.
Confession.
Yeah, man, what's up?
I don't have a knife in this fight.
You have a bayonet. You have a bayonet, right?
Oh, you got me there. I've
Okay,
got
because we're going to talk
bayonets.
bayonets, and I know absolutely nothing about bayonets. So I know they go on the front of the rifle and they stab things. That's what I know about bayonets.
That's about all I know.
Cookie
Too.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Nice Strike, thanks for joining us. Tony, what do you want to say, man? You got anything you want to plug this morning?
The Early Watch and Good Morning Gun Channel is the two morning shows that I'm involved with. Otherwise, good morning, people.
There we go. That's awesome, man. I love watching those. They're awesome. They're fun to check out, fun to hang out, and you guys always got so much stuff to talk about. It's amazing. It's good stuff. And so,
No, we
Tony, I want to
don't.
thank
We're
you for
winning
coming in.
all fucking day.
Tony, thanks for joining us on your day off. No, coming in this morning. So like I said, we'll try to do these weekly if we can, but it just kind of depends. So yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and check out, see if we got anybody else coming in here. We got Doug joining us on the YouTube side, and down on the gun channel side, we need a few people to pop in, get your cup of coffee and join us this morning. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about knives. All right. Now, first of all, we got to get a disclaimer out there. You're going to hear us talking about all these different knives, all these different types of knives, different ways that we carry knives. I highly recommend that you educate yourselves on your state laws and your city ordinances on knives, because I might say, yeah, go out there and get that spring assisted Kershaw Kuro. It's going to be awesome. You're going to love it. And you might have a no spring assist policy or rule in your town that can get you in trouble. So whatever we're going to talk about, you need to make sure that you find out what the local laws say. And as much as I love living in Nebraska, we've got some of the most, what do you call it, ambiguous, broad knife laws on the planet, where you really can get yourself into a lot of trouble, even if you don't intend to. And I'll talk about Nebraska's knife laws in just a little bit. So are there any unusual laws or rules that you know about knives in the places where you guys live? Because we got people all across the country in this panel today. AWAG, what would you say? Is there anything about knives, any kind of knives you can't buy or shouldn't buy, or transporting knives? Do you know anything in your state about that at all?
I've been doing some research on New Jersey knife laws, and you're not allowed to have anything that is fully spring powered. That means you're out the fronts. Even some spring assists are questionable. Hey, I went to Indiana the other month, and I bought a Benchmade Infidel. That thing is cool, but I couldn't bring it back to my home state because it's an out the front, and New Jersey doesn't like that. Now, they're not as stringent on laws. They don't really enforce them that much, because I know even one of my local police officers has a full, like, what is it? It's not a spring assist. It can do it itself, but it opens like a normal knife.
Like a switchblade style is what you're telling me, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's not actually a switchblade. It's like a Tonto style tactical blade.
Okay. I know law enforcement can get exceptions to the rules. They're sometimes allowed to carry those things without, even though there might be a state law against it. I know when they're on duty, they can carry those. So are you allowed to buy and have it sent to your home? Could you buy and just bring it home with you and leave it in your home? Or is it illegal to even possess in the home, according to your policies, do you know, or the rules?
For the most part, I think you can. I haven't read that much into it, so I don't know for sure.
Okay. Because some places, like, they'll sell them to you at the fair, you know, or you'll buy them online and have them delivered to your home. I know that there are some, if you look at the knife laws, when you order knives online, there are some definite states where it says we will not ship to this state or this county or this city. So I know that you know, there's laws you have to watch out for. So what about open carry of knives? Is it allowed? Can you open carry whatever you want for a knife, or is there like a blade length limit that you know of? Or
You can. They don't. I mean, you're not supposed to, but they don't enforce it. Because I have a Boker Magnum in OD Green. I even have a little review on my channel of it. I had that knife for 2 years now, and I've literally run it over with cars, and that thing is smooth as can be when it opens. You can pull it out of your pocket, flick it, and it'll open like it was nothing.
yeah.
But, I have to carry that on my job because I open a lot of boxes every day
Well, yeah.
for
Yeah.
the parts guys. And I've had a police officer stop me and say,
Or
"Hey,
they
why
could.
do you,
That one
why
time you
you?"
get busted, they could, you know.
Yeah, he's like, "Why are you carrying that?" And I'm like, "Well, you see, my job requires me to open a lot of boxes a day, and I would rather use this than the cheapy um, box openers that I always cut my hand on."
Yeah, it's true.
And
It's
he's
true.
like, "All right, fine." So
Gotcha.
as long as you have a good enough reason, they won't bother you for it. And if they see that you're not a threat or anything, they won't bother you.
hmm Nice Strike. What about you? And where you live, what are there any specific knife laws that you have to observe, or anything you got to watch out for? Anything unusual that you know of? Are you allowed to open carry knives out in public, or what do you think? Nice Strike, you with us? He might be sleeping. Maybe getting another cup of
I might
coffee.
have
There you
fallen
are.
asleep.
All right, there you go, man. All right, so
No,
any specific knife laws that you know about where you live in
not
your
that I can
state,
think
or
of. Not that
no?
I can think of. I mean, whether I'm allowed to or not, I'm always carrying around a multi-tool on me. That's got a
Yeah.
pocket knife in it. So,
We'll talk about those too. Those are definitely a nice option,
um,
especially if you. Yeah.
I see people carrying them all the damn time too. You know, it's like almost everyone in town has like a multi-tool that they carry on their belt. I mean, I do it out of habit too. So,
Mhm.
I don't see any
Ain't that a
problem with.
redneck toolbox?
Well, I didn't. I'm not going to try and insult anyone. All right.
I'm not trying to insult anyone. I'm just making commentary here.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah. So
Okay.
no, I don't think there are any restrictions. I mean, hell, my state is one of the few states that said, hey, you can have brass knuckles too.
Yeah, because I know there's a lot of
Because
states where you're not going to find those. So yeah.
there's a lot of states that say, yeah, brass knuckles are a no. Now, granted, in my state, it also says you can't use brass knuckles in a crime, and if you do, you're shit out of luck. But it doesn't say anything about the state laws doesn't say anything about laws defending yourself with brass knuckles.
Mhm.
So
There you go. All right.
There's a New Jersey state law about brass knuckles that kind of almost double screws you because it's illegal to possess, it's a crime to possess them. And on top of that, if you're using them in a crime, then you get an extra however much sentence
yep.
that they have.
Well,
So they're both screwed.
AWAG, if you finished your own sentence there in New Jersey.
Oh yeah, yep, there you go.
Don't take this the wrong way, but your state is already as fucked up as it can get.
It could get worse. It could be California.
Well, I'm not sure how it could be worse.
Didn't they film The Toxic Avenger in New Jersey? I was just. I mean, anyway, what does the mafia do if they can't have brass knuckles and they can't have switchblades? What do they do? I mean, what are they supposed to? Guns? Are they supposed to carry concealed weapons? Is that?
No, the mafia just doesn't give a damn.
I know. I'm just being funny.
I got
you.
Care Bears.
They use Chicago typewriters.
Exactly. Tony, what about you? In the state that you live in, anything you know of around about unusual knife laws or anything along those lines?
Well, I am reading the laws as this conversation goes
Mhm.
on. Basically,
Yeah.
what it's saying is no switchblades, no knives that shoot blades out of them, no throwing stars, no blackjacks or clubs or any bullshit like that.
Okay.
No dirk, dangerous knife, I guess. I don't know what the piss that is.
Some of the
Razor,
knives, man, it's like they're
stiletto.
using it's like 1700s or 1800s knife terminology. It's like what's a
No, it's like 1200s or
no, yeah, they're like seriously use like some like
1300s.
pirate terminology in the knife laws. It's like who carries that these days? I don't even know what that is.
No
you know?
one carries a dirk, but apparently they don't want you carrying them.
It's written ambiguously enough that they can dick with you no matter
Mhm.
what the hell you're carrying. And that's the way things usually go in Illinois.
Yeah.
Yeah, just look at what happened with Springfield Armory.
Well, I mean, talking like law wise, you get pulled over if somebody stops you on the street. You know, you're walking down the sidewalk, you've got your knife on you, and it might not meet their criteria for what you're allowed to carry. I want to just talk to you. I'm gonna here's what it says in Nebraska, and this is awful in my opinion. This is a terrible terminology. While you may not conceal carry any knife on your person or in your vehicle with a blade more than 3.5 inches long, or any other dangerous instrument capable of inflicting cutting, stabbing, or tearing wounds, it is legal to open carry any type of knife in Nebraska. So when you're in your vehicle, as long as the knife is out and it's not concealed, you don't have to worry about anything as long as it's visible. Okay. But if I take my Victorinox Cadet, which is like under 3.5 inches long, and I have this in my pocket or I have this in my vehicle, and I get stopped and they search my vehicle, I could still get busted for this for having a concealed weapon because in Nebraska, this can be considered a dangerous instrument capable of inflicting cutting. So it's that's why I basically quit pocket carrying this thing. That's why I switched over to a clip knife because I had this thing in my pocket forever. Even those little tiny Victorinox Swiss Army knives, those little tiny ones that you have, like your keychain knives. In Nebraska, those can be considered a dangerous instrument if you ever had to go to court or go on trial for a concealed weapon. And we've actually had people busted for this in our state, and that is ridiculous. Now, they recently passed a law in Nebraska that said that law enforcement, they have to show that when you were carrying the concealed knife that you had malicious intentions before they could simply they could cite you for concealed weapon, for concealed knife in your pocket. Now, like if I'm camping and for whatever reason, law enforcement comes through and checks me out or searches me, if I have the Swiss Army knife in my pocket, there's a good chance I'm not going to get busted for concealed weapon simply because the context it's being used, which that is so ambiguous. You can interpret that any way you want. I mean, there's times where I'll just have this in my pocket. I'm not even thinking about it. I'm just walking around, going for a walk or whatever, working around my house. In my car, I might jump in and have this in my pocket. And to think that could cost me my concealed carry license if I was to get busted for it, I think it's ridiculous. Our concealed carry license in Nebraska does not allow knives. It's just strictly for your handgun, for your CCW. So that's why you need to know what the laws are. I mean, that's why it's important that you have an idea so that way you don't get busted and you don't get caught off guard. I think it's ridiculous that you have to have the knife sitting out. I think if you get pulled over and you're required to inform law officers that you've got the knife somewhere in your car, as long as you can tell them where it's at, I think that would be adequate because, there might be some expensive knives you don't want to leave out, or you're like, well, I got to leave it on my seat and you forget about it. And it's, $300 Boker and you come back and it's gone. I think that sometimes the knife laws don't protect the good guys. Well, we all know that in our state. So that's a little bit frustrating in the state where I live.
I want to jump in here for a second and say that
Yeah.
I have not heard of anybody getting busted for carrying a knife here. It's just not something that's happening, I don't think. Now, maybe if you're living in housing projects in big cities, if you're carrying a knife, they might dick with you, but I don't see it happening here in small town Illinois at all.
Well, and you're talking about that, and it's funny. The reason why that whole less than 3.5 inches definition comes up is because I believe it went to the Nebraska State Supreme Court. Man was arrested for having a concealed knife. The knife was less than 3.5 inches long, and he was still convicted because it's considered a dangerous instrument. So, yeah, it was actually in Lincoln, in a capital city, where a guy got busted for it and was arrested and actually. Yeah, I don't know what happened in the end, like if they were able to settle it or if he had a permanent, I don't know if it's considered a felony or whatnot, but yeah, I mean it seems like, but it's just that one time you don't want to be that victim of ridiculous knife laws. Maybe knife laws need some reform in our states. I know I'm all for the gun rights and I'm all for promoting our firearms rights, but maybe our knife laws need to be looked at too. Maybe we need some push for better knife laws, just because they're so antiquated.
Knife
Well,
lives matter.
I'm telling you, it does.
when
It's just,
when the hell did it even become a question about a fucking pocket knife?
Yeah.
I mean,
It sounds like
hell,
school
go back
policy
50
to
years.
me.
There wasn't a man walking planet Earth that didn't have a fucking knife in his pocket, or at
Yeah.
least in America.
Well, it's because we let the liberals take over.
I didn't let nothing.
And like I said, I would care less about the fact that I have somebody in my state that got busted, that got arrested, that went to trial and lost. I'm like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be pocketing my little tiny Swiss Army knife when I go out. But okay, we can go ahead and move on. I mean, I think we've kind of talked about that topic. AY, do you have a favorite knife? Just kind of a favorite all-around knife that you recommend? Is there something that's just awesome for you? You mentioned it earlier. Do you have a preference with your favorite blade?
My favorite blade right now is my Boker Magnum. That's in OD green. It's just a regular. I forget what contour blade it is, but it's a pretty hefty knife. But it's for the price that I bought it for, like $70.
Mhm.
It's a tank. I've run it over with full-size Range Rovers, and it's fine.
Oh, because at work, yeah, you said you set it down and then you kind of forget about it and you back the vehicle out and then you end up running over it.
Yeah, yeah.
Does it
It's
have
a,
any
it's a
kind of a? Do they have a lifetime guarantee on the knife, regardless of like owner or age? Like if you happen to break it.
They have a pretty decent warranty. I forget what it was, but I do remember that it's like if it's broken, you can send it to them and they'll fix it for you or send you a replacement. So
Okay.
Booker's pretty good with their. Now, granted, they're not made in Germany like they used to be. They're now made in China, and it shows its
Yay, China.
China. No, it shows its
China.
Her name is
It shows
Sony.
where it's made because the only gripe that I have with that blade is the blade itself dulls pretty easy because even though it is stainless steel, it dulls pretty quick. It's a very soft stainless steel.
Gotcha. Nice Strike. What about you? Do you have a preference on a blade, or I mean, you've got your pocket tool.
I have preference on a type of blade.
Okay. What is that?
Bayonets.
All right. Let's talk about those for a little bit. So we've got the bayonet. The intention of the bayonet is to be attached to a rifle and used. How is that bayonet as just an all-around, all-purpose knife? Does it function well in that fashion or not?
Well, if you have like an AK or like say an M9 bayonet for an AR-15, then yeah, you can use it as a multi-purpose knife. It's not supposed to, but you can use it as a multi-purpose knife. Doesn't do great, but in a survival situation and that's all you got,
Mhm.
it will help.
Okay.
So, I mean, granted, remember those bayonets are used primarily for stabbing people, but in a survival situation, you can use the M9 or the AK bayonet to cut wood. You can also use it to cut wires as well, all that kind of stuff. Even saw stuff because they both have serrated edges where you can
Okay.
saw.
Yeah, go through cut some firewood or something, or some
Yeah.
tinder or whatever.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Tony, what about you? You got an all-around favorite blade, something that's just been rock solid for you over the last couple of years, or you have a favorite? You have a preference?
Actually, I just bought a 3-inch buck 3-blade pocket knife
Okay.
about 3 months ago, and I think I paid like $30 or $40 for it.
Cool.
And It was razor sharp the day I bought it. I could shave with it, and I just tried it again this morning. I can still shave with some bitch.
Definitely a high
As
quality
far as-
steel.
As far as anything else out there, I don't know. I'm not a knife guy.
Yeah.
I want a functioning knife as a tool to field dress game. Otherwise,
Yeah. Gotcha.
So I'm not going to add hell of a lot to the knife conversation because
Oh, no, it's all right.
pocket knife.
Yeah.
Other than a good pocket knife, and I've got several of the multi tools, but they're just a little bulky to stick in your pocket.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this buck is a little bulkier than my old knife, which was some cheap piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm getting adjusted to the 4-inch long pocket knife thing.
Now it doesn't have a clip on it. It's just an old, like kind of that antler sides, kind of has the bone sides on them. Those are great. I had one of those when I was a kid and worked fine, Sure. Does the job. I still have mine floating around here somewhere.
They're fairly heavy blades, and all three of them are razor sharp. And that's all I wanted.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I have I've got some of my favorite knives kind of sitting out here in front of me as we speak. Real quick, I just want Knife Strike, since we're talking about bayonets. I discovered something kind of interesting. This is I don't know if you guys have seen these, the Glock field knife.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Have you had a chance to play around with these at all or not? Have you ever actually checked one out? Okay, they're kind of a weird design. Technically, from what I've seen and what I've read, these are actually bayonets. In Austria, these are issued to their soldiers. You can pop the cap off the end. It's got this little bent tang right here, and this is able to affix on a Steyr AUG or AUG if it has the correct attachments for a bayonet on it. And this is what they actually use here. They sell it as a utility knife, as a field knife, but apparently they are a military issue bayonet, which I thought was kind of interesting. And this sucker's got an edge, man. This thing is just wicked. I mean, it is awesome. They cost $28, $30. You can buy them on Amazon. Yeah. When you get the a Molly attachment style with a it's the same polymer that they make with the frames for the pistols. You got a nice hard shell, and it's got a little drain hole in the bottom. But these things are just awesome. You want a nice kind of all around, if you don't have a lot of money for a knife, but you want to get something solid, I recommend this. It's the only bayonet that I actually own. I guess you could call it a bayonet. For personal favorites, debatable. Yeah. Well, I mean, if it goes on the front of the AUG and it works, that's what they intended it for. I can understand that. I've got two personal favorites that are just kind of my daily carries, I guess you could say. This is my $3.87 Walmart Ozark Trail knife. And, I'll talk about what it is that kind of lures me in with knives. This thing, I've had it for a year, and I've used it for everything, all kinds of projects, everything from cutting up chunks of dirt out in the yard to cutting through, I don't know, boxes, cardboard, tape, rope, whatever. It'll hold its edge fairly well, and I've got a little knife sharpener upstairs that I use with it. But yeah, for under $4, and it's heavy. It's a little bit slick, but it does have some grooves in the handle. And so the whole point behind this is you don't have to spend a lot of money to find the right knife. This one's really taking a beating and starting to wear down, starting to show some patina. I've used this as a hammer to hammer in nails when I didn't have a hammer with me. It's got some nick marks in it. But these little guys work great. I mean, the blade hasn't broken. The action is still folds up nice and tight. It's not loose. Got the little button on the bottom to push. It's not a spring assist. And I have to have one with a clip, so I'm not carrying concealed knife, basically. This one's a favorite. And then the other one is the Kershaw Kuro, which is a spring assist. And these run about $20. And these little guys are just awesome. This is not really my kind of my utility knife. I kind of take this when I go walking the dog, or when I'm out at the range, or when I'm hunting if I need something that's got a spring assist, because spring assist is legal in Nebraska. But for $20, these are awesome knives. They hold an edge really well too. It's kind of like a Tonto style blade. I'm not really on the up and up about the terminology. It's kind of why we're doing this podcast. Obviously got the pocket tool, like you said. These have great knives on them too, great blades. Just a Leatherman. And then I talked about the Cadet and also the Swiss Army knife. So, AWAG, when you're out, or guys, go ahead. Yeah.
For a second,
man.
I forgot one.
Yeah.
Handy knife to have around and cheap if you do much cleaning game and whatnot, fish especially, and that's that Rapala, fillet
Oh yeah,
knife.
yeah.
Those things are sharper than hell when you get them, and pretty easy to keep up with. And they're cheap. They come with a leather case.
Yeah.
I think they cost less than $20 at Walmart.
Yeah.
I've had several of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they make good fishing supplies. I mean, they've been around forever. They're definitely a solid one to go with. So you don't have to spend a lot of money, and it's tough for us gun guys because you see these knife reviews on YouTube, and you're like, oh man, that's a sweet knife, and it's like $150, $175. Most I think I've ever spent for a knife, not counting a pocket
$200,
tool.
$250.
Yeah, no doubt, man. You can spend whatever you want. Most I think I've ever spent is probably $25, 30 on that Glock knife. So.
Buck knife that I bought's the most expensive one I've ever bought. I think
40.
$30.
40 is the most I spent on a knife.
Yeah.
But I'm absolutely not a knife guy, so I just the Rapala that is laying on my desk is actually my wife's.
Oh.
Not mine. But it is a good knife especially for filleting fish.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I even compare the deer hunting and use it for field dressing.
Is it a fillet style blade that's like real thin? Is that what you said earlier?
Yeah, it's a fillet knife.
Okay. Over on the YouTube side, Pink Panther 69 had said that he posted a website in the lobby chat for a site that covers every state's knife laws. So just click on it and see what's on there because you might find something you didn't realize, which is pretty cool. Deuce Driver says he's got 3 of the Glock knives, which is cool. So people have them. You got to watch out though with those state knife laws because they'll get posted through another website, like a third party site, and the information could be outdated. So it's always a good idea to kind of look around a little bit because you're going to see different summaries of the knife laws when you look around online. So that's something you need to watch out for. Tony, we're talking about those fillet knives and stuff. This is another cool one you guys should check out. These are made by Mora in Sweden. These are, I think, like $16 or $17 on eBay. But they make a bushcraft version of this knife. They make one that has a fire starter built into the top of the blade. This little sucker, man, this thing is just razor sharp. It is the blade. I was so impressed with just the quality and the finish on it. Stainless steel, and it's got kind of a rubberized grip on it. And it's a nice quick draw from the hard plastic sheath that comes with it. It just clicks into place. These are nice to use if you're just working around the house. You need something that's going to be utility, but also a defensive tool if possible. So I highly recommend you check out the Moras too. These are really good. This one doesn't see a lot of use, but yeah.
I'm gonna make a note of that because I kind of like the looks of that.
Yeah, these guys they make like a dozen different. I mean, they make so many different varieties of them. I don't know if they float. Sometimes they have like the rubberized handles that float in the water. I know Matt did one like on the Billy Bob knives that he did a video on ones at Walmart that were like $10. I mean, I tried finding them everywhere. I could find them on eBay, but I could not find them. They have like a handle that'll float in the water if you drop them. They're for fishing. But yeah, Moras are solid, very high quality. Blade goes almost all the way through the handle, so you don't have to worry about it busting out.
I'll tell you, I bought paring knives at Dollar General locally. They're like, they come in a pair. One's like a cleaver type knife, smaller, but and then a paring knife with 3-inch blade that was sharp as a razor, and it worked great at first, but I could never ever put an edge back on it.
I wonder if just the steel was so soft that it was just bending while you were trying to put it in. Or do you use like a traditional steel and a fiberglass, or do you use like the little cross V sharpener? Is that what you use on your knives?
I got a couple of little cross sharpeners. I wanted to take one to my dad because he's got a regular Arkansas whetstone and he knows how to use it. But I just never did.
What you can do, Tony, is you can send it to me. My father works at a beef packing plant. He spends the whole day sharpening knives for all the employees in the plant, and he does all the saw blades and all the special blades that they use to process cattle. So if you ever need an edge on something and you got a really difficult knife, you can just ship it to me, and I will take care of it for you. Because he can put an edge on a knife. It's unbelievable what he can do.
I appreciate that, but the knife costs like $2. So
I got you. Well, you could send some other stuff too if you want. I'm always open to gifts and donations and super chats. Hint, hint. No, just kidding.
That sounds like coercion now.
Yeah, well, Travis, if you have any more Croatian Max, just send them my way.
I've been tempted to try some more of those. I would just because some people say they work and other people say they don't. So
But just remember, just send them my way. I'll take care of it for you.
there we go. I'll be happy to after I dremel the heck out of them, and then you can have them. Okay. That's
they magically work first time.
Hey guys, Night Strike did post the over on the Gun Channel side. He put the knife laws link up there too, and I don't know if they allow users to modify the laws or add to them, but there's a link you can click on to check out your. And that's all 50 states, I take it. Night Strike, is that what you saw?
At least that's what I've seen. Yeah.
Okay. Another recommendation. I got a couple recommendations for you. I just got to get these out right now. Get these at Walmart for $7. This is a Camillus titanium. They claim titanium blade, mixed blade, alloy blade. This is kind of a nice little. This guy's got a nice edge on it too. It's been solid. It's got a real rubbery grip, so you can get a good grip on it. This would probably like wear out if you're beating it around on stuff, and if you rub the grip up against things. But for $7 or $8, man, you've got so many other options with you. Here's the problem I have with myself and knives. I'm usually sold on the price first, and that can be a bad thing. Because you might spend a lot of money on a knife and it turns out that the blade is crap, or it starts to rust even though you try to take care of it, or it doesn't hold an edge like you thought it would. And then I've also bought cheap knives that have worked out just fine, and I felt kind of stupid because I spent more money on other knives. So price is the one thing. I try to read reviews on knives before I buy them, but many times I don't. And so I'm kind of going into the unknown when it comes to knives. What is it that sells you on a knife? AWAG? What is it why did you buy the Boker that you bought specifically? What was it? Was it the color, the style, the features, the name? What sold you on that knife?
What I was looking at originally was a zero tolerance. Those are cool knives, but they're expensive.
Okay.
They're like a $300 knife, the one that I was looking at. Then I looked at the Boker. I kind of liked it because one side was an OD green G10 or G10, I think.
Okay.
The grip.
Yeah, the G10 polymer plastic that they use on it.
Yeah, and it had it's a very minimalistic texture, but it's incredibly grippy for what it is. And it just felt my hand. Now granted, I'm opening boxes all day. I'm not really like throwing them at, I don't know, ISIS or something.
Yeah, well, yeah, not yet. Not yet. Hey, the other Travis is here. The Travis is here. All right.
No.
Oh, man. There's enough room on this world for two Travi. Anyway, continue, man. Sorry to interrupt you, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's fine. Where was I? Oh, yeah, throwing at ISIS.
Yes, throwing knives at ISIS. Yes.
But the knife was pretty nice, and I was thinking, oh, this is probably going to be like a $120 knife because it looked built like a freaking tank. So I asked him how much it was, and he's like, oh, it's only like $70. I'm like, oh, cool, I'll take it. But usually when I look at knives, I look at me being a machinist, I look at their build quality, and I really look at it, because sometimes with super cheap Chinese made knives, like you'll have some roughness around the it'll be a sharp knife, but it's not really sharpened to a fine point. It's just a crude sharp point.
Okay.
And I look at how everything's all joined together and how
components, the hardware, like the actual assembly itself. That's a big one too, because you might have a sweet looking blade, but then the finish on the end of the blade is awful, or the hardware that they use is crap, or it flexes, and
for folding knives, I feel how it opens. If it's like gritty and rough when it opens, it's immediate no-go with me, because I want to be able to have it out of my pocket and with one hand have no issues opening it.
Getting it to open up.
If I have to take both of my hands and like pry it open a little bit just to get it going, then it's not really a good deal for me.
Okay. So again, just some things to look for when you're testing out. I know a lot of nicer places, a lot of your sporting goods stores will have it out of the package. They'll have a case with the knives in it. You can test them out and see what you think about them. Because that's another bad thing is you might buy one that's on a shelf, it's in a package or whatever, and you don't know if you're really going to like it until you get it home. So it is always best to test the knife if you can, check the durability and the quality and the finish on it before you buy it, or at least try to educate yourself on it as much as you can. before you get out there. Trav's got a question for you. Do you have a knife preference? Do you have just like a pocket carry, anything you just keep with you to open packages at work, or anything that just works for you?
You know, when I was younger and I used to hunt and fished more and stuff, I was kind of into knives. I was a big buck knife fan. I had a couple of straight blades. You know, I think everybody on the planet should start out with a Buck 110, the folding buck knife.
Yep.
They're just awesome. They last forever. They've got a great, warranty on them, whatever. So I still have a couple of things. But now, working at the restaurant, and I'm always banging around stuff and opening boxes, whatever. I basically, when I go to a gun show and I can buy like $8 crappy folding knives, I'll buy like $40 worth.
Okay.
And my wife is notorious for borrowing them, which means taking and never giving back. So I'd rather lose an $8 knife than a $50 knife. So.
Oh yeah.
I actually have. I'll go buy like the Tac Force crappy stamped, crappy steel blade lockback folders. You know what I mean? Yeah.
But it's just because they're almost disposable. Something happens to them, or if they break when you use them, you're not going to be upset about it. You don't have to send it in. Now, Travis, you do have a question over on the YouTube side, and we can debate this one because I love to cook, and I am a kitchen gadget junkie, all right? Do you have favorite kitchen knives? I know you and I talked about this, I think, in email. Well, what's your preference? What do you guys use in the restaurant? Do you just use a commercial supplier?
We do. We actually have we use like a real inexpensive stamp blade, stainless, knife that gets. We actually have a company that comes and sharpens them once a week and does all that shit.
We send them to my dad. He'll do it for you for free.
There you go.
No, just kidding.
Your dad can handle all my knife needs, just like Stan can handle all my gun needs.
Dude, he does like 700 a day. So
Jesus. As far as personal knives go, some of the guys have their own knives, some of us don't. I'm not a big knife snob. I think it matters, how it feels more than anything. And one of my favorite knives is a Shun, the Shun company. They're Edo. It's EDO. And they do a Santoku style. I think it's an 8-inch with a scalloped or what they call a scalloped edge or a Granton edge.
Yeah,
that is probably my favorite knife. It's got some heft to it, but it's really nice and smooth. I think anything over an 8-inch anymore, you don't see a ton of huge knives anymore. The 8, 9, and up into 10-inch and stuff for restaurants is more than sufficient.
Okay.
You're talking about a lot of good stuff out there,
The Santoku kind of serves as your all, even though it's not classified as a utility knife, but it does function as such. My favorite Santoku is actually from IKEA. It's a $7 IKEA 123 series. That thing is just freaking awesome.
Well, there's a lot of stuff out there what's nice about some of those thinner blades is you can get those thinner blades. I mean, you think about literally like a utility knife. You can get those damn things razor sharp. They just don't stay sharp.
Yeah.
So, if you're the kind of person that doesn't mind keeping up on the blade a little bit, they'll serve you well, especially at home. The type of cutting board you use is a big deal too, because you see people use some really, really hard cutting boards because they don't absorb anything, or I even see people cut on marble and shit. They're like, "Oh, I got this marble cutting board." I'm like, "Good God, what are you doing?"
I use like a soft plastic big square. I have it's like the commercial style that's used for
But I mean, there's so much stuff out there now. I mean, and with the internet, you can find some great deals on stuff too.
Another one to consider, since we're just doing knife talk in general, just real quick, and we can kind of move out, get you out of the kitchen. Victorinox makes awesome butcher knives. I spent 5 summers working at the beef packing plant to make money for school, and I had Victorinox butcher knives, 3 or 4 different, and they're like $20-25 a piece. Now you do have to sharpen them if you're constantly cutting about every hour, you got to put an edge back on it, but they are awesome. I got a couple upstairs in my knife block that I use, and they're amazing butcher knives.
Yeah, I think one of the things too is that it's just kind of like guns. I mean, you could go buy a PSA, and there's different levels of that PSA. The same thing with knives. People are like, "Oh, I bought a, I bought a Henkel." Well, there's some garbage Henkels out there.
Oh yeah,
And
you
there's
got
some
the
really nice stuff. So
you got the line they sell at Target versus the one that you have to order online, or the ones you get at the high-end
Right.
kitchen stores. You can spend anything from
Yeah.
100 to 500 on a knife block. You know.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
yeah.
tons of stuff out there. But I mean, I think people overbuy knives. They want to have tons of different knives. They want to have I got to get a 5-inch serrated utility knife. What the hell are you going to use that for other than maybe slicing a tomato? Why don't you just get a nice bread knife? I mean, if you have a nice chef's knife, a nice bread knife, and a nice, like a 4-inch paring knife or a 3-inch paring knife, honestly, you don't really need much more than that.
Yeah.
So
Now, I want to ask you guys, when you look at knives, or when you buy them, or anytime you've ever purchased them, where do you guys go to buy your knives? Who's the best supplier for you? Because there are so many places online. Do you guys have any preferences for where you go through? Stick with Amazon, or trying to think of
Walmart.
something. Walmart. Yeah, that's where I bought almost all mine, surprisingly. Yeah, Walmart's got a good selection. Some of your hardware stores, like your Lowe's and Home Depot, Menards, they've got a good selection of knives too.
My local gun store has a
Oh,
fairly immense selection of knives. But man, all I want is a friggin' pocket knife, you know?
yeah. So you don't need the tactical automatic, infidel, blade.
I want this fucker to cut a squirrel open and take his hide off. I mean, that's what I'm doing with it.
Oh yeah. AWAG, where'd you buy yours at? Who'd you go through for yours?
I went to my local gun shop for mine.
Okay.
They usually have a pretty good selection at my local gun shop. They don't have everything that I would like to see there, but another place I would shop is probably Cabela's or Bass Pro.
Okay.
I would,
A nice thing in those places have them on display too, which is cool. You can actually test them and check them out and hold them and see if you're going to want it before you spend the money on it.
I want to
Tony,
go back
yeah.
to the selection, why we select or how
Mhm.
a bit, because something that the other Travis said,
Yeah.
is how I select a knife, and that's the edge. And you can tell by feeling the edge of a knife if it's good sharp or just sharp. And I know that sounds stupid, but
No, it's true. When you really look at I'm looking at the more, when you look at the fine edge on it, you can tell by the quality of the grind on it, if it was just cheaply run through just a grinder, or if it actually has a nice polished finish. I mean, I'm sure there's all kinds of terminology for how, edges are put on the knives, but, yeah, I mean, no, I agree totally. Yeah.
if you're wanting a good sharp knife, that thing should shave you.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's test it right now. No, yeah, you can definitely nick some hair right off your arm. You should be able to take it right off with no issues.
I mean, it should shave you without irritating your skin.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
This buck knife does with no problem.
Pink is saying that the Buck Autos look pretty good on the Gun Channel side. Over on the YouTube side, Mel was saying that he usually goes through Amazon or just Walmart, like we mentioned here before. Benchmade looks like a solid brand. That's another one.
Benchmade
But
is
again-
a very solid brand.
Yeah.
Something else that people need to keep in mind is sharpening a knife. The frequency that you have to do it is way more than most people consider. I mean, if you watch a pro with the knife, he's touching that thing up all the time.
Yeah.
If you're actually doing things with your knife, you're apt to have to sharpen it a couple of times or more in a day.
Yeah.
And if you let it get way dinged up, you're going to have a hell of a time ever getting the edge back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you have
it's-
a lot of options. Travis, what do you guys do? Do you just use a traditional steel and a glass, or what do you use?
Yeah, we just use a steel. And if you're keeping up on it, that's more than enough. A lot of people don't know too. If you look at a blade microscopically, it's not flat. Every blade is serrated. It's just a matter of how tiny the serrations are. And basically, what happens when you use a knife is those fold over, and you can feel when you run your finger from one side to the other across the knife that it's folding from one side to the other. And a lot of people, when they sharpen, they'll sharpen on one side more than the other. And
Oh,
Your blade will actually start to like fold over, and once when you go across from one side to the other, it'll feel smooth, and from the other side back, it'll feel rough, and that rough side is where you're curved over.
Yeah.
So when you sharpen a knife on a steel or anything really, if you feel it and one side feels rough, put that side on the steel and just give it like one light stroke, and it'll straighten that blade back up, and usually that's when you've got your knife, as sharp as it's going to be, unless you did a really garbage job.
Those
Yeah.
little ceramic sharpeners that have the ceramic in X position, they work really good if the knife is already pretty damn sharp. So if you're touching up all the time, they're great.
Yeah.
If you're trying to sharpen a dull knife with one, they're terrible.
Yeah, they're so fine that if you don't already have a good blade going, it's not gonna. It's like almost like touching up.
The key is when you get that knife, it's a good idea to just educate yourself a little bit on sharpening. How to put an edge on it. Like, do you need to use like a whetstone setup, or do you just need to use a steel, or just a traditional, just a little kitchen knife sharpener? You want to have something around so it's going to last.
Something else too.
Yeah.
On these crossed sharpeners, you want to make sure you get the right angle.
Oh yeah.
Because there are differences, and it's dramatic.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely need to test it out. Another one I wanted to share with you guys. When I was a kid growing up in the 80s, and anybody that's a little bit older, Rambo movie came out. The survival knife was popular when I was a kid, and you could buy them at fairs. You could buy them at gun shows. I bought one off the table, and I think I was 12 years old at the time. It's kind of funny. I've since gotten away from those, and they're gone. And I was kind of strolling around my local Harbor Freight, and I saw this monster right here. This really takes me back. These are like $8. You guys have any experience with these at all? I mean, it's completely, I don't even know if this is practical for anything at all, but it definitely takes me back to the Rambo days. It's got a wicked serration on the top. I could cut logs with this thing, man. I mean, this thing is just wicked. Yeah.
The tough thing about a lot of knives like that is they don't have a tang. The blade is just attached to like a handle. The handle
with the nut in the bottom. This one is, so just as a comparison.
They're generally, unless you get a really expensive one, it's a really weak setup.
Yeah, it's going to break.
Yeah, anytime you don't have a full tang on a knife, you get a lot of issues those when you actually go to use them. I mean, it's fun to have, and they're better than nothing.
Oh, I got a whole kit. I got a whole EDC right here in the handle.
Yeah.
I think I have a couple knives in here too. So yeah, no, I just bought it kind of for fun. I mean, I keep it as kind of a little last resort home defense knife if I had to grab something. But yeah, I don't see myself doing bushcraft with the $9 Harbor Freight knife. I just don't think that's going to do the job. But like you said, the full length tang is going to be important. The construction is going to be important. You want to make sure that you're doing your research, especially if you're going to spend a lot of money on a knife. You want to make sure that it's not going to have any issues or break or anything along those lines. So, let's see. All right. Well, I've kind of come to the end of the list here. Anything else you guys want to share about knives at all? It's a little bit short today, guys. I apologize. But again, just the topic of knives, just to see what you recommend. AWAG, are there any that you're pursuing in the future? Anything you're looking at buying, or anything you really want to pick up? Any brands you could recommend, or anything you're kind of looking at?
I'm trying to find right now a Fisker's bayonet for the M39. I want one of those things so bad. It basically looks like that survival knife you have, except it's a little more meaty and incredibly sharp. I found a few of them on eBay, and they're in incredible shape, but they're like $400.
Is the Fisker the brand or finish? From the fins? What?
It's Fisker is the type of knife it is.
Okay. Again, I'm kind of a knife noob, guys. I apologize. Yeah.
No, it can also be the brand too. I have no I'm not entirely sure.
Style. Yeah.
Fiskers make scissors.
But for the most part, that's what I take it as.
Yeah, I was going to say they're scissor manufacturer, right? Yeah. That's what I thought.
Yeah. But regardless, it's the bayonet that goes on the M39. I want to find one of them so bad because I have an absolutely pristine M39 that I just want to put a bayonet on, and I can't find one.
Okay, I see him now. I was looking up some images on him to see what you're talking about. Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, I have to keep your eyes open at some gun shows and see if any would happen to pop up. I know you can get your, you can get your knives through. Have you checked eBay just to see
Yeah,
if anything
that's
happen to pop
usually where
up?
I look at them.
Yeah, or you might find one. So, yeah. Travis, do you have any preferences? Are there any knives you're thinking about investing in? Any brands or any marks or types you want to get in the future? Or you think about maybe putting out some cash on something a little more pricey or not?
Not really. I mean, like I said, I have what I need for right now. I don't have I have for my shit hit the fan kind of setup. I've got I got my bayonet. I've got a nice machete. I've got a nice hatchet, and I have some lockbacks.
Okay.
That's it. I'm good.
You're pretty much sitting good right now. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of the same way. I don't know if I'll really. I'm happy with my $3.87 Ozark Trail pocket knife. Where if I happen to lose or misplace it, I'm not going to panic. I don't feel like I'm out. AWAG, I think I found you one of those bayonets, but you're probably not going to like the price. So you want to click on the internal chat link and see what you think. It's on eBay. It's currently up to $305. So I mean, if you got the change sitting around, Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Tony, I know you've said you've made your knife purchases. Anything in the future you'd like to get, or any dream knives you'd like to pick up, or anything that you think would just be cool to have?
I need to find something a little bit heavy for cutting through the rib cage of a deer, but other than that, I'm not looking for anything.
Yeah. We had the buck. One of the guys had recommended a nice buck that you can put an edge on. It'll basically be good enough to process your deer right out in the field and quarter it and do whatever you want. So buck would be a good one.
I'm tickled to death with buck knives.
Pink is commenting on the YouTube side. He's saying that they're $80 on Liberty Tree. I don't know if he's talking about the finished bayonets, so maybe check that out also. Oh, Melvin, that's saying you got to have the compass and fishing line to be a real Rambo knife. I know the compass was awesome. No, mine does not have the compass in it. I can get a little round compass to put inside of it if you want to, but yeah, awesome. Okay, so anyway, and then as for me, I don't know. I love the Victorinox Cadet. They do make these like in some limited release colors and stuff. These are just great little knives. I use them for everything, and they hold a great edge. They've got a little screwdriver edge on them. I've used them to fix my car before. I've used them to fix electronics around the house. So they're a little pricey. I think they're $25 or $30, but they do hold up really well, and the quality on them is awesome. So that's one of my recommendations if you want an all-around knife that you could possibly pocket carry. Otherwise, I'd say just keep yourself out of trouble and just get clip knives if you're going to go that route. Definitely the way to go. So cool. All right. So anything else you guys want to say before we go? We're about at an hour here, and I think we've kind of talked about the topic of knives. I hope everybody had a good time. Anything you guys want to mention at all?
I'd say one thing too, because I mentioned machetes. About 90% of the machetes out there nowadays are just garbage.
Yeah.
They're thin stamp blade, cheap metal. Mine is. I've had mine since I was about 10 years old, and it's a military USGI surplus Ontario. Thick blade, no mess. Hard plastic handle, like the not a fake light, but that kind of plastic handle.
Mm-hmm.
If you can find something like that, that will last you forever.
Yeah, I guess we never really got into the whole surplus side of knives. I mean, anything that was former military issue, or like you said with your machete. And I agree with you. I've got the $8 Harbor Freight machete that's sitting with my bug out bag. But I had one when I was a kid, like 20, 30, I don't know, probably 30 years ago. I had one that was like a U.S. Camper brand, and that thing was just friggin' solid, man. It was like an iron blade. I mean, that thing was just awesome. I think I bought that, by the way, at a Pomida, like a Kmart, when I was like 12 years old or 10 years old. Lady asked me what I was going to do with it. I told her I was going to go camping, so they sold it to me. I miss the 80s, where you could buy things like machetes right over the counter without even having a driver's license. Those were the good old days. So,
yeah.
And I'm not much older than UTM, so you probably know what I'm talking about here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Melvin Nutt saying not a big fan of the Gerber machete. I've seen a few torture tests on those things, and they seem to not. I don't know how I feel about Gerber knives in general. Maybe they have a higher end line that you can get, but they're okay, I guess, for what they are. But still, Cool. All right, so I think that's about it, guys. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I want to thank you all for joining me today. AWAG, any parting words before we go?
If you're feeling upsetty, buy a machete.
There you go. There you go. Just don't be upsetty when you use it. And if you're a fan of just cars in general, or you dig the old Toyota Supras, check out AWAG's channel. By the way, Travis, I was going to tell you, I put a link on the newest video that I just uploaded this morning. I wasn't going to post that video for a couple days, but I've been getting a lot of views on it and it's still unlisted, so I went ahead and posted it. I put a link to your channel at the end of that video. So the pressure's on now. You're going to have to start throwing up some more recipe videos for us and some gun videos.
Well, I actually yesterday, it's supposed to be here tomorrow. I just ordered a tripod.
Cool. All right.
And I got a tripod, and I got a couple ideas for some fun stuff to do. I got to find the time.
What would be cool is if you could do a range video and then just say, well, let's go back home and let's do some cooking, and then you make something. Like we need a range video where you go out doing your shooting at your club that you belong to, and then come home in the same video and make like a Cuban midnight sandwich. That would be sweet, like intertwine the two together, guns and food, man.
We do have a camp too. I could always take some portable stuff up to the camp, cook while I shoot too.
Hey, there you go. Wait, cooking and using the firearm at the same time seems a little dangerous.
Nah, man, you just have a holster on one side.
Oh yeah.
For the gun and a holster on the other side for like the tongs.
Got your wok in front of you, and you just got your sidearm right there. So
that's right,
yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
Just go out and kill it and grill it.
Yeah.
See, look at this. Middle of the Nut saying the other Travis has a channel. Yes, he does. You just go to Midnight Range TM. He's got a video uploaded for, I've not made it yet, a homemade butterscotch recipe that looks like it's going to rock the house. So
yeah, I just did something fun one night. I had to be here late at the restaurant. I figured, what the hell, let me film it. Just something fun to do, just to get something up in the meantime until I get some equipment.
You need to hit us up with some comfort food, some man food. We need like a good meatloaf recipe, a good macaroni and cheese recipe,
those are
a nice venison recipe. What's that?
Those are two things that we talked about on Matt's channel the one night. And,
oh yeah,
and
I think that was the one where I dropped out and you came in and you were talking about it.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I had mentioned back then too, is I wanted to do some guy food, things that you guys might want to try at home, So,
Tony, did you just say chili?
Yes, I did.
We need some wild game chili, man. Some elk chili, or let's see. Okay, John Z is saying, how come the chat's not working on gun channels? John, I keep having to refresh on the gun channel side, and then it times me out after a few seconds, and I can't click on comments. So if you go in, refresh the page, it should bring the cursor back so you can chat, but it's only going to last a couple minutes. I think if you click on any other windows, it takes you out of it. That's what I've noticed this morning. So yeah, gun channel side might be having a few minor technical difficulties, but
issue.
Sean had mentioned squirrel and dumplings. There you go. I'm from a Czechoslovakian American family. My grandparents are Czech immigrants. Rabbit, very popular. Rabbit and dumplings, duck and dumplings, anything in dumplings with some homemade sauerkraut. That's the way to do it. Yeah. So there you go. The pressure's on, Travis. We need like a recipe a week, man. I want meatloaf, mac and cheese. I want a good chili recipe. Not to steal all your trade secrets, because my goal at some point is to make it out to your bistro, your restaurant, to do some chowing at some point. So I could be there in like 3 hours if I jump in a plane.
Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, we're close to HIA, Harrisburg International. So
hey.
I'll come pick you up.
Mel's recommending toucan chili. Now, we're not talking about eating the bird from a box of Fruit Loops. It's 2 cans of this, 2 cans of that.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Garbage can chili.
Yeah, do it, man. All right.
We'll figure something out.
Heck yeah. But like I said, you're going to get some more subscribers. So everybody, people are saying they're having trouble finding AWAG's channel. It's just AWAG 1000, and that should be the channel name.
Yeah, I have 2 channels. Look for the picture that's the back of my Supra. They're both my channel, but I seem to have lost the password to the one with the little orange remote control car, Camaro.
Okay, because see, that's what pops up when I'm going to share the link with you in Gmail, and I never send it there because I'm like, is that your channel? I couldn't remember if that was or not. So
yeah,
you could probably request a password change, and it might email your original registration address that you signed up for the account. So we can do a food talk at some point too. I'm not trying to steal Matt's ideas, but I love cooking. I'm a big fan of just different recipes, everything. There's a few
Well, yeah,
things that I don't cook around the house because it's easier just to go out and get it. And I can't ever seem to match what other people can do, like Indian or Chinese or
Yeah. Well, that's,
yeah.
You know, that's kind of the goal is to maybe once a week or maybe once a week, not too much. Try and get a couple of guys together and do a live chat. You and whoever else. Group 90 said he would be down for it too.
Yeah.
And to just do a chat and just do some food, do some guns, some bullshit. Just to get out there and do some fun stuff. So.
Oh heck yeah! You could have like maybe
Yeah.
a beer discussion, a little favorite brews discussion.
Sure.
Dude said that A-Wagon TM just got subs. Also, I want you guys to go over to Night Strike's channel and sub with him too if you haven't done so yet. We need to get him up to 500 subs. Melvin Nutt says gun guys are closet foodies. This is true.
I don't think they're closet foodies. I think we all just love to shoot and eat, man.
Yeah. Oh, I agree totally, man. I love cooking. I've got all kinds of different things in my head. My dad's amazing. He can cook anything. He's awesome.
Hell, that's why I have guns, to go out and kill food.
There you go, to go out and harvest what you. Ooh, we need like a wild game series. We get some good squirrel recipes, rabbit recipes, dove,
Possum.
quail, possum. Yeah, I don't know. Have you guys ever had that before?
Nah.
I have. It's
Possum and
actually pretty
raccoon and skunk. Or not skunk, but just like possum and raccoon. I don't know. I suppose. I mean, raccoons. Here they're popular to harvest for the pelts because you can sell them. But I just don't know if I could go there. I don't know.
Lots of people love barbecued coon. Now, I couldn't do it. It was greasy as all hell, and I couldn't stand it.
Yeah. Wild turkey. Man, I just can't wait for the fall hunting season to get around. It's going to be bad.
Hell, I was out hunting this morning.
Oh man, don't even tell me. I need to see what's up right now. I'm sure we've got year round on a few game that you can go after if you want to.
Squirrel started August 1st here, so.
Here you go. John D saying now he's hungry. Roadkill stew. Pink, I don't know, but I've been tempted to want to take home some of the bucks and does I see on the side of the road that people hit with their cars. There's some.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
God damn, there's some nice mounts that are just sitting some good. Yeah, I know. That's New Jersey, New York. I think they have special crews just for picking up roadkill.
Yeah, it's so bad that we have a section of our highway here. It's Route 55. It's just an absolute slaughterhouse for freaking deer. It's kind of sad.
I'd have to have
55.
What now?
Interstate 55.
No, it's just route. It's just a little road that stretches about 17 miles, but it's all wooded. It cuts through a wooded area, and it's just a slaughterhouse for deer.
You're gonna start seeing Tony sitting alongside the road with his rifle. He's on 6.
I can't hunt deer with a rifle here in Illinois.
Yeah, Jersey either you can't.
44 Magnum, baby.
Or you can use a slug shotgun, right?
I could, but I ain't going to.
Yeah. Well, the pistol would be just as good. Mel says he's got a great recipe for prune dressing. Mel, I hear you, man. Me too. I can do kolaches with homemade fruit fillings. Oh, yeah, prune's definitely one of them. Man, now I'm starving. This is bad. I got to go have breakfast again. Tony, anything else you want to say before we go, man? Before we wrap it up?
I'll just steal a quote from a movie and say a knife is like a woman. You've got to stroke it every night to keep the edge.
Words to live by, my man. Words to live by. You all remember that? That's like something you find on a fortune cookie, isn't it?
I found it in the movie Lonesome Dove.
There you go. Deuce is saying convince Night Strike to make videos. Night Strike needs a camera, guys. Somebody has an old digital camera sitting around or just a decent digital camera they're not using. Send it to him. Get in contact with him. He just doesn't have a decent camera to make videos. Because he uses his camera, and what happens is the camera overheats or the memory card buffers out and it can't record more than like a few minutes of footage. So Night Strike is in need of a camera. I was going to send him my spare, but I got hit with splash damage when I was shooting a gong with an AR-15 and it basically destroyed the camera. So I was going to send it to him anyway, but that would have just been kind of rude. So yeah, it's called an iPhone. He's using an Android phone. I know the iPhones are awesome. iPads are awesome.
I know, that's what I'm going to be using.
Crush,
I only use Android for my
damn
videos,
tablet for like $30.
The cameras on those can be really fuzzy. You got to get something. I mean, or even just like an old deregistered iPhone or an iPod Touch. That those have great cameras on them, and he could pick one up for like. I've got an old iPhone sitting around. I could send him. He could probably use an iPhone 5.
He
So.
can look fuzzy anyway.
Well, I want the man to start making more videos because he's got this backyard that would just be awesome for shooting videos. He just doesn't have the phone to do it or the hardware to get it kind of running. But yeah, so there we go. Maybe we need to do a super chat fundraiser for Night Strike to get him a phone. So there we go. All right, guys. Let's see if I got anything else to add. I think we're pretty much good to go. So. All right, so everybody over on the gun channel side, we had John and Pinks over there. I want to thank you guys for joining in today. Over here on the YouTube side, we got Elbanut, Pink, Squib, Deuce Driver. We've got, who else was on there? Sean is there with us. Travis, thanks for joining in. We had you earlier in the chat too. So John Z's over here, Doug. Your local gun nut 803 later, Travis. Hey man, you take care, guys. We'll try to host one of these next Saturday. We'll maybe think about what the topic is, see what's going on out there, anything coming up that we want to discuss, and if something pops up, we can host one. So yeah, I'll try to host a Caliber Corner number 10th anniversary episode. We can do something. So sounds good. But guys on the panel, I want to thank you for joining me today. Thanks for coming in this morning and hanging out with us and chatting and sharing your. Like I said, when it comes to knives. We've got a lot of different experience with knives, and some of us have more than others. But what's good is you find the one that's going to work for you, and you know how to maintain that blade on it. So it's not about wasting money on a good knife. So definitely. Otherwise, I think that's about it. Okay, guys, I will talk to you all hopefully next week. And guys, I want you to have fun, be safe, and we will talk to you soon. So this has been Caliber Corner number 9.
Thanks.